How is everyone today with my WWE Royal Rumble 2019 live review? Of course, I was at the Royal Rumble this past Sunday at Chase Field. I'm still in Phoenix right now, of course, because tonight is SmackDown Live. I'll be going home tomorrow morning, so I'm pretty excited to be going back home. Even though I'm a little sad the trip's ending, but I'm excited to go back into my own room, back into my own bed finally. So, without wasting more time, I'm going to jump right into the video with my overall thoughts on the Royal Rumble. I thought it was a great show overall. I had a lot of fun during the show. I thought it was great. But my complaint, I think the only complaint really about the show from everyone, is the fact that the show was way too damn long. I was in my seat at probably around 3:16ish time, not even like saying to be a mark, but literally I think I was like in my seat around that time. And I think the show ended at like, what, 10 o'clock? Where Arizona time or whatever time it is. It's not West Coast time. It's an hour before my time, usually in the West Coast. So whatever time zone Arizona's in, it's an hour ahead. So it ended around like 10 o'clock, and that's just 7 hours of wrestling. Even though, obviously it wasn't a full 7 hours. Of course, the kickoff show matches were like, every now and then, but still, that's a long time sitting in your seat, and after a while, you just got tired, and especially after the Women's Royal Rumble, I think everyone's energy was drained for the most part, which is why a lot of people were completely quiet during the Dinner Bryan AJ Styles match. But yeah, I still thought it was a great show. It was just way too long. It definitely did not need to be that long at all. So that's my main complaint. But yeah, I still had an awesome time. I really enjoyed it. I would show you my tickets, but again, if you guys watch my NXT TakeOver Phoenix Live review, my tickets are just buried in my suitcase right there, so I don't feel like digging through it to find it, just to show it off. But I will say I was disappointed in my seats, because when I bought them, I bought row 1. And you're thinking, row 1, that's awesome, right? But I had the mentality that this was an arena where the seats are elevated going up. Unfortunately, my row 1 meant I was sitting on the floor. Way back. Well, I wasn't way back, but I could see the ring where I was at, but it was one of those things where when I sat, if people were standing, I couldn't see the ring unless I stood up with them. So that was my main complaint, and of course a lot of people kept walking by, so like, my view wasn't obstructed, but people constantly were going by in front of me, so it got really annoying after a while. So at some points I just started watching the screen, then I'd go back to the ring, obviously. So I was disappointed with the seats nonetheless, but they weren't terrible. They were great views, just like I said, when people were standing up or walking by, I couldn't see what was going on unless I stood up with everyone else, and I didn't want to be the asshole to stand up when everyone's sitting behind me, because then people will start yelling at me to sit down, so I didn't want that to happen. So a little disappointed in my seats, but it didn't prevent me from having a great time. Even though I was kind of let down by it, I still had a great time overall. So I'm not gonna let that ruin my my experience at the Royal Rumble. But I thought the setup was pretty bad, though, to be perfectly honest. Like, I know it's a baseball field and they have to go get around the way that it's set up, but I don't know. I thought the entranceway was lazy. I know they're coming out of the dugout, but they could at least like elevated it or something, or I don't know. It came off lazy, and it didn't seem monumental. And I liked that it was different, but I don't know. I just didn't like the way the field was laid out for the show, and they didn't have no WrestleMania sign up, which I thought was really stupid. And I remember going into the show, I was like, where are they even going to hang the WrestleMania sign at? Like, there's nowhere to put it, and they just ended up using one of the billboards as a graphic screen for the for the Mania sign, which was just lazy in my opinion. So yeah, that was that. But of course, the first match we had on the kickoff show, which was Bobby Roode and Chad Gable taking on Scott Dawson and Rezar. Talk about a random match that was just really random. I don't know why they put on the show. The only noteworthy thing on this match was something that didn't even happen in the match. That was during Bobby Roode and Chad Gable's entrance. The cameraman tripped and fell, and everyone laughed their ass off, including myself. And that was the only noteworthy thing. Besides that, the match was just whatever. It was like a TV match, and of course, Scott Dawson and Rezar, their differences ended up getting the better of them towards the end. Miscommunication. Gable and Roode pinned Scott Dawson, I believe, to win the match. So yeah, I don't even know why I was in the show. If it was to get them on the show, did it really matter if they're on the show or not? They had a pointless match, so who cares? That happened. And of course we had the United States Championship match, Rusev defending against Shinsuke Nakamura, which I thought was a good match. It wasn't as good as their match when Rusev won the title on the SmackDown Live on Christmas, nor was it as good as their Fastlane match from last year, but it was a pretty good match overall. Some nice callbacks to the previous matches, and the ending played well into what would happen later on the show with, Nakamura going to untie the turnbuckle to expose the ring. Lana's yelling at Nakamura that he's cheating. Nakamura gets in Lana's face. Rusev goes to charge Nakamura. Nakamura gets out of the way, hits Lana down. Lana's selling her ankle. Rusev, as he's like kind of looking at her, trying to see if she's okay. Nakamura can Sasha the back of Rusev's head. 1, 2, 3. Wins the United States Championship. I want to be excited for Nakamura. I mean, I was excited when he won, but at the same time, he didn't do anything with the title the first time around. Why should I be happy that he has it again just to do absolutely nothing? Not saying Rusev was doing anything with it, but still. at the same time, it's like I'm not really too excited that Nakamura has it back. But I think in the Rumble match, we saw a possible direction for the U.S. title, so I think that's why they put it back on him. But it was a good match. Excited that Nakamura is U.S. champion again, because I was really worried that, you know, at WrestleMania he's going to be put in that Battle Royal, and, you know, potentially now he's going to WrestleMania as U.S. champion, which I think is the right decision in my opinion. So, good match, and glad Nakamura is U.S. champion again. And of course, we had the Fatal 4 match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy defending against Akira, Tozawa, Kalisto, and Hideo, Itami. This was a very good match here. This was a lot of fun. You know, very fast-paced and a lot of high-flying action. Kalisto's spot where he DDT'd Buddy Murphy looked absolutely vicious when Buddy Murphy just got planted into the ground. They had a nice spot where Hideo Itami tried to suplex, I believe it was Kalisto on the outside, and Buddy Murphy like put him on his shoulders, and then Akira Tozawa dove through the ropes between Hideo Itami's legs and took out Buddy Murphy and Kalisto. That was an awesome spot right there. And then of course, you know, Buddy Murphy just went on like a V trigger spree where he just started V triggering everybody. I believe V triggered Kalisto, and Kalisto did jumped off the top and just absolutely murdered him with the V trigger. And then you know, came down to Buddy Murphy and Hideo Itami, which they were teasing throughout the entire match. And then Buddy Murphy just beats the fuck out of Itami and hits his finish with the 1-2-3, 1-2-3, retains the championship, which I thought the finish was kind of flat because, like I said, they built up that Itami and Murphy showdown since the beginning of the match. And for the showdown just to be Buddy Murphy beats the fuck out of him and pins him, I thought that was very flat, and I wasn't a fan of that. But I thought it was a very good match still. That was a lot of fun, and Buddy Murphy's absolutely awesome, and yeah, that was a really good match to end the kickoff show. And then of course go to the main show, which opened up with the SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka defending against Becky Lynch. This was a tremendous opener here. I thought both women went out there and just tore the house down and just beat the shit out of each other. I thought it was great. I loved every second of it. You know, Asuka's working on Becky Lynch's leg, which would come to a factor later on in the night. The one spot, though, where they were on the apron, and I think Asuka tried to give Becky a neck breaker, but it looked more like a DDT onto the outside. I don't know. The spot looked like it was going to be cool, but then they just fucked it up. I don't know. It was a weird spot. But, and then, you know, they tease a lot of, you know, of course, Becky putting in Asuka in the Asuka lock, and Asuka actually put Becky into an armbar. There were a lot of great callbacks and a lot of great storytelling in this match for both women, and I thought they went there and had, you know, one of the best matches so far this year. I know we're only in January, but I would say main roster-wise, that's probably the best main roster match so far in WWE. However, I wasn't a fan of the finish. You know, Becky Lynch ended up getting put in like a Northern Lights like sleeper. I don't really know what it was. It was like a Northern Lights suplex, but a sleeper all at the same time. And then Becky just tapped out. And then I know a lot of people are pissed about that. To me, they should have done the spot where Becky, you know, passed out. And I know some people said that, oh, they didn't do that because they did that NXT TakeOver where, you know, Bianca Belair passed out to Shayna Baszler. But come on. Who should be protected more? Bianca Belair in NXT or fucking Becky Lynch, who's potentially, or most likely going to be main event WrestleMania? Like, come on. So I wasn't a fan that Becky tapped, but it was what it was. Of course, they did a thing where Becky was on the apron and she had a look on her face. You can just tell that she was not done tonight. So, great opener. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was fantastic work from both women. And then, of course, from there we go to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Bálor defending against The Miz and Shane McMahon. This was a good match here. I thought it played well. I thought Miz looked good with the bar. So did Shane. However, I think Shane came off like a huge dumbass because they put Cesaro up on the table and Shane went up onto the top to do the elbow drop to the table. But as he was standing there, like getting ready to jump, Sheamus like jumped The Miz, who were like nowhere near Shane, and Shane just decided to like jump on Sheamus instead, which to me was just incredibly stupid, but was what it was. And then of course the ending came where Shane was getting his ass kicked by the bar. Miz ended up giving Sheamus a skull crushing finale. Shane ended up giving Cesaro a shooting star press for the finish, and 1, 2, 3, Shane McMahon and the Miz are your brand new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. You know, I thought it was the right move, to be perfectly honest. Even though I don't know where they head with the SmackDown Tag Team titles, because I don't see them being tag champs going to WrestleMania, so I don't know if they drop them back to the bar again or drop them to somebody else. But it was a good moment for them, especially with Miz and Shane, you know, celebrating with Miz's dad on the outside as well. So, good match, and you know, I'm kind of excited to see what they do with the Miz and Shane going forward, because I know one of them is going to turn on each other before WrestleMania, but just, you know, obviously we have to see how that plays out. But I thought it was a great, not a great match, but it was a good match with a great moment. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. From there, I'm going to the Raw Women's Championship match. Ronda Rousey defending against Sasha Banks. this was a great match as well. In my honest opinion, the best Ronda Rousey singles match we've seen. I thought her and Sasha Banks went out there and just tore the house down. Great storytelling, though. Sasha Banks. I love the spot where she took her arm thing off and then wrapped around Ronda Rousey during Banks' statement at one point to try and win. But they just were they're beating the fuck out of each other. Like it seemed like they were shooting on each other at some time. That's how much they were really laying their shit in, and I thought they told a tremendous story, great in-ring work, and just Sasha Banks, looking at the old Sasha Banks we used to love, years back, and she, obviously last year was a horrible year for Sasha Banks, but I feel like the beginning of this match alone was better than her entire 2 years, honestly. So her and Ronda, like I said, in my opinion, the best singles match in Ronda's career so far. I was very surprised the crowd was very behind Sasha, by the way. I thought for sure people would be rooting more for Ronda over Sasha, but I'd say it was probably 70-30 to Sasha. But of course, the ending came with Ronda hitting, I believe they called Piper's Pit. Ronda's finish, where it's like the different version of like a Samoan drop, and ended up hitting Sasha Banks, which I was surprised by. I thought for sure she would tap Sasha out, but I guess they wanted to protect Sasha from tapping, so they ended up having Ronda pin her, which worked out, because when Ronda hit it, Ronda had like a desperation pin where she didn't even like fully cover her, she kind of just like laid on her, which I thought was great. So Sasha Banks loses, and then of course they did the whole thing where Sasha Banks did the 4 horsewoman thing in front of Ronda. It looked like she was going to attack Ronda, because she walked up the ramp and turned back around, walked back up and turned back around again. It looked like she was going to jump Ronda, but she didn't end up doing that. But I thought it was a great match, like I said, and really enjoyed it. I thought it was, Ronda's best performance to date in, Sasha, like it looked like the old Sasha Banks of old. So nothing to complain about there. And then, of course, go to the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match. I thought the match itself was great. I saw a lot of people complaining about it, saying that they thought it was sloppy, they thought it was bad. From my perspective, I didn't think it was sloppy, at least the stuff that I saw, because, when you're focusing on the ring, you don't see all the angles, you don't see everything that happens. Like, there was times where I was watching the match that I didn't even notice people were gone. Like, I didn't even notice Lacey Evans got eliminated. And she started at number 1, which I don't know why her and Natalya started the match, but they did. I didn't even notice she got eliminated. So there was, it was hard for me to keep track of everything, unlike on the network or on TV where they have the camera cuts to show everything that's happening. So I tried to focus on the ring, and wasn't able to see all of it. But from what I saw, I enjoyed it. The Liv Morgan spot I thought was dumb, where she just charged it and got thrown out. There wasn't really many surprises. There actually wasn't any surprises at all. I mean, you have the NXT people come in like Rhea Ripley, the Casey Conataro, or whatever her name is, Candice LeRae, Kairi Sane, the Zia, or whatever her name is, that was in the Mae Young Classic. You had a lot of NXT talent in this match, and that was about it. You didn't really get any other surprises. I liked that they filled up the ring. Oh, Maria Kanellis is in the match. I love the showdown between Zelina and Candice from, of course, the rivalry from last year. I thought they played greatly in this match. Hornswoggle, too, was in the match. Well, he wasn't in the match, but he was a surprise entrant. Well, not a surprise entrant. He was under the ring when Zelina was trying to hide, which I thought was hilarious. But I like when they clusterfuck the ring with people, because to me, that shows that everyone's trying to win this match. When they only have like 3, 4, 5 guys in the ring at once, to me it's like, okay, it's stupid, because then everyone obviously doesn't really want to win the match that bad, considering they're getting thrown out that easily. But when they have a clusterfuck of people, to me it makes the match more interesting, and like I said, it shows people that shows that people really want to win this match. So I like that they had a lot of people in the ring for a majority of this Rumble match. Of course, Naomi had her infamous, thing where she got thrown out, but she was able to jump back onto the steel steps. But then Mandy ended up swiping her legs, which I thought was absolutely hilarious that Mandy did that. And then, of course, we had Casey Conataro do the spot as well, where she had her feet on the barricade and she ended up doing a handstand back into the ring. So this was a lot of fun. Like I said, honestly, I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people, there were some people that didn't. Some people thought it was really bad. I honestly probably say I enjoyed it more than last year's Rumble, to be perfectly honest. I had a lot of fun with it. And then, of course, towards the end, they did the infamous thing where Lana came in at number 28, but she did not enter the match because of her ankle. Again, going back to the pre-show, which, remember, the pre-show doesn't count, but apparently for this show it did. Lana hurt her ankle in the pre-show, or the kickoff show, I should say, sorry. And then it played effect in this match where Becky came out and Becky said, hey, let me take her spot. Finlay said, fuck it, go ahead. Becky ends up taking her spot, ends up selling the leg, towards the end with her and Charlotte. Once she got thrown, she didn't get thrown out, but she got taken out, I believe, by Nia or whatever. So she was selling her leg, and then, came down to her and Charlotte, and she was trying to sell her leg, and Charlotte was working on her leg, and, towards the end, Becky was struggling getting up the ropes. Charlotte tried to give her a big boot. Becky ducked, threw her over, punched her, and then Charlotte, slowly, rolled off the apron, which I thought was stupid. That she looked really dumb the way she got eliminated. Like I said, she went over, and then she just, slowly tumbled down, which came off terribly in my opinion. But yeah, Becky eliminates Charlotte to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Predictable. I think a lot of people saw it coming, but sometimes predictability is good. In this case, it definitely worked out well. I'm very excited that Becky won the Women's Royal Rumble. She definitely deserved it. And obviously now she's facing Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship, and hopefully in the main event. God, I pray they don't add Charlotte, especially after the promo on Raw last night. There's just. If they had Charlotte, then they shouldn't have done that promo, because that promo to me solidified that match needs to be one-on-one. So adding Charlotte would be a huge mistake. She needs to challenge Asuka in a WrestleMania 34 rematch, in my opinion. But like I said, I thought the Rumble match itself was very fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And yeah, very excited that Becky won. From there, I would go to the WWE Championship match. Daniel Bryan against AJ Styles. Talk about a disappointing and underwhelming match. I just feel like they weren't doing anything. It was very slow. I understand, they were trying to tell a story, especially when AJ was working on Bryan's knee, which would come to effect, especially when he locked in the calf crusher, where Daniel Bryan actually almost tapped. I don't know, the crowd obviously was drained. I was drained from the Women's Royal Rumble match. I was kind of just sitting there not really caring about it, to be perfectly honest. And I thought it was just me, but then I saw everyone complaining about the match, saying it was boring. I was like, good, I'm glad I'm not the only person that feels this way. So even though it was a good match, it was just very underwhelming, especially compared to the TLC match. Because when I was at TLC, I thought the match was fantastic live. And I've yet to watch it back, but I thought it was a fantastic match. And then you go to this match, which is just underwhelming and not very good. So, and then the finish, I didn't like the finish at all, where Styles obviously has Bryan down for the Styles Clash, hits him with it, referee's down because the referee took a ref bump, and then out comes Rowan, Eric fucking Rowan, who's covered in tattoos now apparently. Well, not apparently, he is. Comes out, just standing there, runs in the ring, gives AJ a chokeslam, and then Daniel Bryan just pins AJ. Well, first off, how many times do they have to repackage Rowan? This guy's been repackaged 15 times. And they have a lot of faith in this guy to keep pushing him and putting him in these prominent positions, because I think the dude's terrible, but honestly they see something in him that I don't see. But obviously we'll see more on SmackDown Live tonight about the partnership between the two of them, but I'm not for it. I don't care for it. I don't care to see Eric Rowan with Daniel Bryan. Obviously I think they'll add Luke Harper once he's cleared, because that was my thing. Why isn't this Harper instead of Rowan? Apparently Harper isn't cleared yet, so I don't know. But I'm not the bit excited for Rowan to be with Daniel Bryan. If they want to do a Daniel Bryan stable, that's fine. But to put Rowan in it, no, I'm not for that at all. So underwhelming match, like I said, and and didn't like the post angle with Eric Rowan joining Daniel Bryan. So that was that. And then of course go to the Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar versus Finn Bálor. This was awesome. I thought it was a great match for the 8 minutes it went. Finn Bálor kicked Brock Lesnar's ass. He really did. He was on the offense, majority of it. He kicked Brock's ass beginning. Brock had to come back where he hit the belly-to-belly, some suplexes. Finn, was able to counter the F5 into a DDT, which was absolutely beautiful. Hit the dive on the outside, I believe, 3 or 4 times. Pushed Brock into the corner of the announce table, which I loved it, because immediately when Brock hit that corner, I said, dude, not only is that where Brock hits his finish, but Brock's diverticulitis. And I'm not sure if they mentioned that in commentary, but that was the first thing I thought. It was Brock's diverticulitis played into the fact of why he was selling stomach so much. And of course that played into Finn hitting the coup de grace for a near fall until Brock kicked out, put Bálor into the Kimura, and then Bálor tapped out. And I know that pissed a lot of people off. I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that Finn tapped out. To me, I believe the arm he put the Kimura lock on was the surgically repaired arm of Bálor, which I'm not sure they mentioned that in commentary, but they definitely should have. I'm not sure if that was the right arm or not, but I'm saying if it was the arm, they definitely should have mentioned that. That's why Bálor tapped out, was because that was his bad arm that got surgically repaired. But, I don't know. And then, of course, afterwards, Brock hit the multiple suplexes and F5 to get on Bálor. And, when they did that, I'm like, they have to do a rematch between the two of them. They have to do the Demon versus the Beast at that point, right? Obviously, they're not going to do that now considering what happened on Raw, but I don't know. I thought it was an awesome match, but I know the tap out, finish put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and the beatdown afterwards is kind of unnecessary. But I still thought it was a hell of a match. Like I said, people really don't acknowledge the fact that Bálor was on the offense most of the match. He was kicking Brock's ass until Brock, had to come back and obviously beat him. But I thought it was a great match for what it was still. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And it was a great sprint. Like I said, it was only 8 minutes, but I thought it was great for every minute it was. So Brock Bálor, fantastic match. And then, of course, go to the main event, which was the 2019 Royal Rumble match itself. The match started with Elias and none other than Double J, Jeff Jarrett. I popped huge for Jeff Jarrett. I thought the segment was great. And, of course, obviously, Elias just typically threw him out after hitting him with the guitar, which Elias is heel now, heel again. So, don't know why they turned him back, but I'm not complaining. I think Elias works better as a heel. So, I think that was the right move in a way. We didn't get any surprise entrances really. Again, it was kind of similar. Besides Jeff Jarrett, it was very similar to the Women's Royal Rumble, where every surprise really was an NXT talent. I mean, we had Johnny Gargano, which was awesome to see. Aleister Black, who I popped huge for. Pete Dunne was in it as well. A few other people, but it was a good Rumble. I don't think it was as good as the Women's Royal Rumble, but I still thought it was very good. It was very short too, because I remember even in between. The intervals between each person coming out, they were rushed. Like, I remember some guy timed one of them around me. He's like, dude, it was only 35 seconds between one of the entrances. So I don't know if it's because they were like, they wanted to end the show as soon as possible, and they're just rushing everything. And, even the match itself, like, there's only a couple people in the ring at once, it seemed like. It seemed like there's like 4 or 5 people, and like people that got in the ring just got thrown out immediately, so I didn't like that at all. And I kept mistaking Rollins and Mustafa Ali, because they wore similar gear and they looked similar with their hair, so I kept mistaking those two throughout the entire match. So that was pretty funny. But Noah Jose had his the comedy spot where he got thrown out immediately, and then he was still dancing his way out, which I thought was stupid. Like, dude, you just got eliminated from the Royal Rumble and you're happy about it? I don't know. I thought that was pretty stupid on his part. But I love the spot with Johnny Gargano doing the splash and Joe just walking away. I thought that was hilarious. Mustafa Ali eliminated Nakamura and Samoa Joe, which, like I said earlier, I think him eliminating Nakamura definitely leads to a future U.S. title match. So I definitely think that's where they're going with the U.S. title. Maybe a 3-way at WrestleMania between the 3 of those, but who knows? Then of course the infamous thing with number 30, where R-Truth comes out and then Nia Jax comes out and takes his spot, which was just absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. And of course, she dominated the match for a good portion until she ended up getting the 619, RKO, and super kick, and got eliminated. So obviously they're doing some more intergender stuff. So I thought her being number 30 was fucking stupid, but I love watching her ass beat by Orton with the RKO. So I thought that was great. But Ambrose got eliminated pretty fast, which obviously the news came out that he's leaving WWE, so I'm not really too surprised by that at this point. But I thought it was a good Rumble. Like I said, it wasn't as exciting as the women's, but you got some good surprises for the NXT talent, and you got some good interactions. I love seeing Aleister Black and Pete Dunne go at it. Pete Dunne had some eliminations. Aleister Black had an elimination. Dolph Ziggler was in the match. Mr. fucking Buzzkill ended up eliminating Drew McIntyre, which that was fucking ridiculous, but what can you do? But yeah, it was fun. And of course, came down to and Bobby Lashley took out Seth Rollins after he got eliminated like 10 seconds into the match. And then of course, Keanu Strowman and Rollins. I love the finish where Rollins went for the Big Show Rock finish, where he tried to just tear him out of the ring. But as he did that, he ended up giving Strowman a curb stomp. Strowman flew out of the ring, and then Seth Rollins won the Royal Rumble. And I was very happy. Again, it's very predictable. Seth Rollins won, but predictability is good, especially in this case. So I was very excited for Seth Rollins to win. Kofi did a spot, by the way, in the match where he fucked it up though. When he went out, both his feet touched the floor. Very clearly, both his feet touched the floor. But what can you do? He fucked that up, and Xavier Woods saved them, and they both ended up getting tossed out anyway, so it didn't really matter. But Seth Rollins with the Royal Rumble, challenging Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, which I think was very obvious again. Very excited for that match. Hopefully it's better than their Battleground match from a few years ago. I think it will be, especially with the matches Brock's been having lately. I think they'll definitely go out there and tear the house down at WrestleMania and have a fantastic showing. So I'm very excited for Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 35 in April. So yeah, that was the show right there. Like I said, I thought it was a great show overall. I thought he had a lot of great matches. ton of fun, but it was just way too long. After the Women's Royal Rumble, I was pretty much done for, and up until the Bálor-Lesnar match, then I was regenerated, but I don't know. It was just way too long. It didn't need to be that long. It definitely should have been cut an hour, and it would have been a lot better show. It would have been a lot better experience, to be perfectly honest, because that's the point where I just wanted to go home, go back to the room and relax. But yeah, the Royal Rumble, great pay-per-view. Definitely was a great way to kick off the road to WrestleMania. I'm very excited to see everything going forward. Of course, like I said, we have SmackDown Live tonight, which I'll be attending. Then, of course, I'll be going home tomorrow morning. So I'm excited to be going back home. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please like below. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video.